Hello and welcome to episode 18 of Tales from the Midnight Diary. My name is Gemma. My dog has just decided to start eating his dinner. We'll try again in a second, shall we? Hi there. Hello, let's try that again, shall we? Welcome to Tales from the Midnight Diary. If it is your first time here, so lovely to meet you. I hope you'll join in all the community goings on, which you can find right down there. Channeling my inner Amy. And if for those of you who don't know, I am a yarn shop manager by day, and by night I am the Midnight Diary. So I dye yarns, design patterns and chat to you guys here. So welcome. I hope you are well, and I hope that you've had a very good week since I last spoke to you. If you watched my vlog last time about the stash entry, we've had a couple of episodes now that aren't normal podcast material, so if you stumbled on those and have now come to this one, this is much more normal insofar as anything that I do can ever be considered normal. So yeah, hi, welcome. So this week, in a break from tradition, I have not one, not two, not three, but 4 finished objects. I know. Long-term viewers of the podcast will know that at one point I had 50 whips going on. I love casting on new things. I'm not fantastic at finishing things, but yeah, I've got 4 finishes this week and my whipboard is looking a little bit svelte, to say the least. I've also got some works in progress, and I have, because we are Tales from the Midnight Diary, some behind the scenes yarn dyeing for you to see as well. Just a couple of minutes while I dyed up a couple of very special skeins. So, a little bit of admin at the top of the episode. We have got one make-along running at the moment. It is the Midnight Make-Along, in which we celebrate all things to do with the Midnight Diary, because why not? So the task is to either make a project which uses, hiccups, at least 50% of the project to be yarns from the Midnight Diary, or the project bag as I was formerly known, or a Midnight Diary pattern, and you can double, triple dip, however you like it. We are doing this on Instagram using the hashtag #MidnightMakeAlong, which I will flash up. I flashed it up on the screen already. I'll pop it down below for you as well. That is running to the end of the year, and next week I will be showing off some very, very special prizes for that make-along. Thank you so much to everyone who has dug out their treasured, coveted skeins of yarn and started using them. As a dyer, there are 2 things that are hugely complimentary to me. One is that you like what I do enough to part with your hard-earned cash and purchase some yarn. Thank you. And 2 is actually seeing those yarns become something, which is really, really exciting for me. So thank you very much. Second bit of admin. No, I'm going to save that. We'll come to that in a bit. So this is a bit strange. I've actually got show notes this week because there's so much that I wanted to talk to you about, and I really didn't think I would remember, but I just, oh wow. First of all, thank you so much for the warm response that my 2 vlog style episodes have had recently. It's always a bit nerve-wracking doing something different, and it was really nice that so many of you enjoyed spending a weekend with me behind the scenes and seeing what it's like running an indie business here. And thank you also for your engagement with the stash video, where I showed off the stash tracker vlog thing. I'll show it off here again in case you haven't watched that, because it might not be, excuse the crinkling, it might not be your cup of tea. But I was sent this, my stash inventory book by Stationery Geek. I am a brand ambassador for them. It is not a paid partnership. They just sent me some stuff and said, do you fancy having a go? I was like, yes, please, and give my honest review. And it's got all my yarns, my stash in there. Well, it hasn't. This is book 1. I'm waiting for book 2. I filled it up. There's space for 100 different yarns in here. I ran out of room, and more yarn has come into my life. Yeah. Anyway. So that was really nice. Again, it's a bit nerve-wracking showing off your stash, because it can be seen as being, oh, look at me, look how much I've got. It can be seen as being detached from reality. You know, I have a sizable stash, but I know that that's a luxury for me to have that. And it also just looks a bit like, you know, as Marcus would say, fibre hedonism. Fibre, wool piggery, fibre debauchery, whatever you want to call it. And on that note, I'm really thrilled to have actually removed some yarns from my stash. I've got some more yarn that's going to be sent off to a friend, and yeah, I've got some finished objects. So yeah, thank you. It's been really lovely to get to know more of you and get to chat with you in the comments on YouTube. So please do keep that going, because yeah, it's great sitting here and chatting and sharing what I do with you. And I know many of you watch it, and that's really cool, but I'd love it to be more two-sided and actually get involved with you guys and have those conversations. So thank you. Right, I've blethered on for long enough. How about we get on to finished objects? So I said I've got 4 finished objects, and I do, but I can only show you 2, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But let's start with the one I am most proud of. This is the strawberry lemonade shawl, or shawlette. I can't quite remember what I called it. It's available on Ravelry and on Payhip. It's important to me to be off Ravelry as well. And it is a 1 skein shawl, which starts in the middle, and you can see it's a really deep crescent if I hold it as it wants to be held. And the idea is that it sits nicely around your neck, either as a scarf or a shawl or a wrap, however you want to style it, because I struggle with wearing shawls. They tend to fall off. So I wanted something that had quite a deep crescent and wanted to just, you know, hang beautifully. I love lace. But I also appreciate a bit of garter stitch to break things up, and that's pretty much what I've done here. So I've started off with kind of either sort of like a lemon wedge almost in the middle, and then garter stitch, then we go out to sort of strawberry-esque shapes, and then we've got some different lace combinations in the 2 wings. So it starts in the middle, the construction, and it forms a deep semicircle, which you might just be able to see. And then you work on 1 wing at a time to improve the wingspan. So yeah, I've used my hand-dyed yarn. This is Grubby Goldfish, one of my signature colourways. It's a bit less grubby than usual, this Grubby Goldfish. It's quite bright and not so much the grub, but I still really like it. It uses a Russian bind off, and it has the option of an applied I-cord edge as well. So I haven't done the applied I-cord. I'm thinking it might finish it off, but I had 28 grams left of my skein once I'd finished the knitting. So that is plenty to allow for an optional I-cord. It also means that you don't have to have a full skein in order to be able to knit this pattern. I worked it out as 306 meters of a 4-ply superwash merino nylon yarn. So if you've got a skein that's about 300 or, you know, 310, you should be absolutely fine. I've used a Russian bind off instead of a cable cast off because it gives it that much more stretch, which when you've got lace like this needs to really block out. I mean, I haven't blocked this terribly aggressively, but it's really beautiful and open. You obviously don't want to be constrained by tight bind offs as well. So that's the strawberry lemonade shawl, and I'll put some pictures up as well. I'm beyond thrilled with the reception it's had. This is my first ever shawl design, and I was really nervous about putting it out there. I designed it for my cozy boxes, which if you've been here before, you'll know are my quarterly subscription boxes, around the theme of just being a bit cozy, hug in a box, Sophie Swan of A Spring Snowflake podcast calls it, and I think that's kind of what it is. So you get hand-dyed yarn picked specifically for the season. You can choose from one of 3 colour stories. So although the yarn itself is a surprise, you've got a fairly good indication of whether or not you're going to like it before it arrives, which is good. And it also includes 2 patterns, 1 knit, 1 crochet. So everyone's involved, there's something for everyone to do. and as well as some fantastic extras from the indies I've teamed up with. So Lisa Green Designs artist, Celia, whose surname I can't remember, who is Just Herbal Teas, and of course Nicola, who is Just Handmade, Unique Handmade Crafts Kent, who produces little stitch markers for us as well. And you've also got the option of adding a pyrographed coaster into the mix. So yeah, so this was designed for the Cozy Box, and it was meant to go out in June, the pattern, but I ran into a bit of a problem. My confidence isn't particularly high. I think lots of you will probably know what I mean when I talk about imposter syndrome, this sense that actually you really don't know what you're doing, and you spend your whole time trying to stop other people finding out that you are just winging it and haven't got a clue what you're doing and really have no business doing this in the first place. Oh, as RuPaul would call it, the saboteur in your head. My saboteur was working overdrive, and I designed the pattern first before knitting it. I did swatches, but then I sort of thought, well, I'll do the construction, I'll do the maths first. And I really, really screwed it up. It went so wrong, and I got so upset and so in my own head about it. And I left it for ages, and actually time came to send the boxes out. The time came and went. I sent out part of the pattern, so they didn't just have nothing. They had a fantastic crochet shawl design, Budding into Bloom, which was designed by Sophie of the Spring Snowflake podcast, and that is also available now to buy on her channels. I'll link it down below. And so I said, let's kind of do it like a mystery knit along. I'm really, really sorry that this has happened. Luckily, everyone who bought the boxes is you're just the most wonderful humans. I really, really appreciate you so much. Thank you. And everyone was kind of like, yeah, why not? Let's do it like an MCAL. This will be fun. And I sort of pushed myself through the barriers. And the barriers, I think, to be fair, they were barriers I was putting up. I got in my own head. I convinced myself I couldn't do it. It wasn't going to work, so what was the point in trying? And it just became this big, big thing. And even picking up the needles to even knit a few stitches, even of garter stitch, just felt impossible. So I was really pleased to finally push through that. I can't tell you how I did it, other than I knew I needed to. And yeah, so then there was, again, I've done that, and everyone seemed to be enjoying the shawl. That helped, the people who are starting to make it. And then came the time to hit publish, and I really wasn't sure. Alan took me outside and took some beautiful pictures. My husband took some really nice finished object pictures, and that helped. And then launched it on Sunday, and wow, I can't believe how many purchases and downloads it's had. I'm just absolutely thrilled. So thank you so much. Do tag me if you decide to make this shawl. So this is the strawberry lemonade shawl, and a tale of imposter syndrome, and that however polished we might look, I know I never look polished certainly on YouTube, but when we think about Instagram and the front of house that we see of everybody's lives, because that's what we present, it's a hella mess back here. I am a very, very human. I had a lovely chat with someone who's gone back and watched all my past episodes, and I'm talking about the Project Bag past episodes, not just, the 17 of these that I've done. And that always makes me cringe when people say, oh, I've watched all your episodes. Oh, why would you do that? Because like most things in life, I am a work in progress. This channel is a work in progress. And she said, well, no, I've actually found it really nice, because you're just, I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically amounts to the fact that I am very clearly human. I make mistakes, things go wrong, and it's all okay. And I thought, well, that's me, really, isn't it? Let's just embrace it. I'm not pretending to be anything I'm not. So all that to say, I've published a shawl pattern. And it's really exciting. The second finished object I have to share with you is the Tulamine mystery shawl, which has not been a mystery since about November 2018. I cast this on, and I think I was talking about it in episode 3 or 4 of the podcast, of the Project Bad podcast. And I shared the colours that I was choosing, and it was my first ever mystery along. I think it was my first shawl I'd ever cast on at that point. I've been knitting for 30 years next year, crumbs, but I'd never knit a shawl. To me, shawls were like old lady things. Sorry, but I have been educated. I'm aware that that is not the case, and actually shawls are wonderful, desirable things, and I want all the shawls. So yeah, I cast this on and I got chatting to Tabitha, the designer, and we've got a fabulous interview with her on my channel. 2 interviews actually on my channel with Tabby. Yeah, she and Verity Truly Hooked helped me pick out the colours, because I was really nervous, because it being a mystery shawl, you don't know what it's going to look like. So how do you know the colours will play together nicely? So took a deep breath, got on with it. And I did okay. I took it to Manchester with me back in 2018, and I was sort of working on this middle bit, and it went terribly, terribly wrong somewhere, and I'm not sure where. And again, it became this big thing, and I just ignored it because it's too hard for me to fix. And I worked on it on and off. I did fix it. And then a few weeks ago, I was going through all my projects, because we were moving everything out of the room that I have all my kind of crafty stuff in, because obviously that's where little baby's going to go. And I was going through these project bags, and I found it, and I thought, oh, I would really love to finish this. And obviously the new Sweet Georgia MCAL for 2021 was coming out, and I'd watched Felicia's video about that, and I kind of wanted to cast that on. I thought, I've got to finish this. And so I wonder why I've left it for so long. At this point, I haven't touched this shawl in well over a year. And I picked it out, and I thought, I'm just going to have to look at it and try and find out where I went wrong, or where I've dropped stitches, and just fix it. So I pick it up, get the pattern, figure out where I am, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And I couldn't help it. I just knit. I think I started, I think I was here when I picked it up. From 2019 or 18 or whenever it was, and in a weekend pretty much I had done the first wing. I think the last time I showed you, I just knit like an absolute demon, and I couldn't put it down. I really, really loved it, loved working on it. And then I was like, oh, I've got to do all this again on the other side, but I have. And look at that, isn't it pretty? It needs blocking, like the ends aren't woven in and it's not blocked, but it is finished. I cast it off at about 1:45 midnight last night. So it was finished officially on the 15th of September. I'm recording this on Thursday, the 16th of September. And I love it. I'm so, so pleased to have this off the needles. I will try and get decent pictures of it, if I can, for the editing process. Hello. But and it's really, really wearable, and snuggly, and just bright and gorgeous. And I cannot wear shawls, can you tell? I've just thrown it round any old way at the moment, but it's just lovely, and the colours are just, I mean, this is bright. This is all Truly Hooked yarn. None of the colourways she does anymore. 2 of them were exclusives to club boxes. It was Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's so cool. Best soundtrack to a movie, I think, in a very long time. Sorry, Mr. Williams, but love it. And yeah, so this one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's Guardians of the Galaxy one. This one is called Gamora. And this one is an old colourway of Verities called Mermaids Can Be Goths Too. So yeah, it is finished. It is done. And it feels amazing. So this is it, not blocked, not ends woven in, but I will do that, and I will show you again, hopefully with it looking a little bit more finished and a little bit more polished very, very soon. So I mentioned 4 finished objects. I can't actually show you the next 2 because they are designs for November and September's Cozy Box, which goes out in a couple of weeks. It's Aran weight yarn, September. The pre-orders have closed for that, I'm afraid. They always close just before the start of the month that the boxes are due to go out. But it's really lovely merino cashmere nylon, and I've got a new hat design. I say new, I started designing it in 2018, called the graffiti hat, and I think I shared it back in 2018 on the podcast as well. So I've got some sizing and grading to do on it, but my plan is to publish that and dye the rest of the merino cashmere nylon Aran skeins and set them up as kits potentially on the website, either this side of Christmas or next. We'll see what happens. You know, I've got a lot going on at the minute. Yeah. So where does this leave me? Because I want to cast on the new Sweet Georgia Mystery Gal. I'm 3 clues behind already. But this one took me 3 years, and I kind of just want to enjoy the win for a bit, you know? And that's really inspired me to work through my whips. That, and I was watching a New to Me podcast. He's not a new podcast by any stretch of the imagination. Somehow I've been living under a rock and wasn't aware of him. But Eric Lutz, he's really lovely. So yeah, he's got a really lovely podcast. It's called Sticks Plus Twine. You've probably all heard of him. So he's doing something where he's like working through some whips. Finish, frog, forget about it, something like that. He's got this fantastic video, Organised Knitting, and sort of takes you through how to do it. And I'm thinking, well, I'm kind of up for that. So yeah, I've been plugging through the whips. The temptation is always to cast something new on, isn't it? Especially with me. But I think I'm riding this high of having had a couple of finishes. This being a big one. This one, with the imposter syndrome, cracking that and getting it done. I'm like creativity unleashed now. I've, whipped out 2 designs for the September box in a week. And to be fair, I kind of already knew what I wanted to do, but I was so in my own head about, I can't do it. I've got no business doing this, but I did it and I love them and I can't wait to show you. So I'll show you just at the end of September when everyone's got their boxes. And I just, feels good, guys. It feels really good. Yeah, so that's a 3-year-old whip, and I don't think, let's have a look at my whip board. I think on here I've only got one other 3-year-old whip and 2 2-year-old whips. But this is my whip board, and I don't think you've ever seen it. Sorry, you can see the reflection, there we go. I don't think you've ever seen it looking this sparse, have you? So I finished the honeycomb blanket for my brother. I have frogged the bramble socks. Now that is a design that just wasn't working. So do you know what? I've decided to forget about it for now. I've frogged it back. I'm going to come to that possibly in the new year when I'm a bit fresh and I've got some fresh ideas. So I've got 2 pairs of socks on the go because these are a new cast on because I finished my peacock socks a few weeks ago. I shared those with you. I've got 2 garments on the go. Both of them are actually for work, the day job. And there's this debate. Do you think I should count day job works in progress as my works in progress? I don't know. I mean, technically both of them will belong to me in the end because it's part of the kind of deal. Oh, what was that? It's okay, it's just the buttons. You're okay, puppy. You can come sit down here. Try not to knock the tripod. Good boy, good boy. Magnus, just come and sit down, mate. It's quite hot in here and I've got the windows shut because of traffic. So I don't know if they should even count, in which case neither should the Bamba shawl, which is 2 years old. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projects on the go now. So because I had to put Dad's Blue Lagoon socks on there, I had to be honest. Let's move on to whips, shall we? Let's move on to whips properly, and I'll talk to you about what I've been up to. So as you know, I have a very good friend, Ellen, Callockshire Ellen, Mrs. Lamb's Yarns, and she is both a fantastic support and an incredible saboteur, by which I mean she will plant ideas in your mind and they will suddenly become the best ideas. So you might start off with an idea and she might tweak it and say, well, what about doing this? So for example, long-term viewers will remember the great cast on party of 2019, where I wanted to give up casting things on for Lent. And Ellen, being supportive, said, well, why don't I help with that? Let's have a cast on party, cast on loads of things, on Pancake Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, and then you can start, and it was the Monday, and then the pancake day, Shrove Tuesday, ready for your kind of fasting of casting on. I was like, oh, I don't know. Is that really? And she said, no, it's great, because then you won't want to cast anything on. You'll have all these new things to work on. It'll be really, really help you get through these 40 days and 40 nights of not casting anything on. I thought, yeah, okay, why not? And we decided to do it online, we did it on Instagram, and I think we cast on 26 things between us. Oh my God, I have still not recovered from that. Anyway, Ellen, my lovely friend with friends like these, she's been at it again. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But she said to me I was saying about wanting to get things finished, and I was saying, but the mild rainbow blanket isn't too close to being finished. And she said, yeah, but you could do like a few rows a day and then it would be done by the end of the year. Yeah, it would. So I've been doing that. And this is one of Ellen's better ideas, it has to be said. So since I last spoke to you, I have gone from there to there. So I've done 2 whole colours, because that green I only had a little bit of, and a half colour there. And I've just added on this tealy colour because I am moving towards the other end of the rainbow. So I've started with red. Look at this, guys. I can do this. Red, orange. Yeah, Richard, off. Yellow, York. G, gave. And I'm working towards the B, battle. So I've got the blues here. So that one is going to be followed by that one, which is a love of yarn, followed by that one, followed by that one, because we're moving towards indigo now, in case you couldn't tell, and violet. But I'm going to finish it off, let me just pop those minis against my chest, by moving into, is that it for the blues? Yeah, by moving into pinks. So I've got 3 pinks there, and then it will come full circle for the red. So yeah, so I've actually not got much left to do on that. Now, how I'm doing this is I'm holding 4-ply hand-dyed minis together with undyed, this is my merino nylon base, to create this lovely mild effect. I haven't got a pattern for this. You just cast on until it feels wide enough and knit every row, because it's garter stitch. And the result is an incredibly squishy blanket, which is just an absolute joy. It's my second mild rainbow blanket. I was inspired by my lovely friend Amy, who started knitting one of these. I think it was as we started lockdown. She didn't really have much mojo. This is back 2020. So I did one, I did it really quickly, and so then I cast on the other, and this one is actually a lot bigger. So yeah, so that's one whip. Okay, the next whip I was going to talk to you about was the Tullamy Mystery Shawl, but I finished that, so no longer a whip. Here we are. Next whip is my dad's Blue Lagoon socks, which I've helpfully left mid-row. Bear with me a moment. So my dad is the most knit-worthy person. Who is knit-worthy in your life? Have you got anyone knit-worthy? Someone who really appreciates, time and effort that it goes into making things? And even if you have someone knit-worthy, how easy is it to actually knit for them when you want to make all the things for yourself? I definitely do. So hang on, I'll just get to the end of this row. You can maybe take a moment to type in the comments there and tell me what you think. Is it a decrease row or not? Can't tell. No, it's not a decrease row. Okay. Right, now I have it. Here we go. So I'm just using my standard vanilla sock recipe. I will get around to writing it up for you at some point. And here we are. It's Blue Lagoon by West Yorkshire Spinners. It's coming up very saturated on my phone. We'll see what happens on the screen. And yeah, it's a self-striper. And because it's my dad, he likes his socks to be a wee bit longer. So there we are. And I've done the heel turn. I'm working down at the gusset of the first sock. So this is it in the, I was going to say in the ball, but it's more like a splodge at the moment. I really, really like working with West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. It's a really good workhorse yarn. You know where you're at with it. And I tend to work on this either when I'm editing podcasts or if I'm in the waiting room at the hospital. And actually, I haven't been kept waiting that much in the last few appointments. So it's kind of sat there for a while. So that's just sock 1. And he loved his hand knit socks so much that I think I've got another 5 or 6 balls of West Yorkshire Spinners yarn to work up for him. So we'll see. But I love knitting socks for my dad because he just adores them. I was a bit nervous because he's quite sensitive skin. A lot of people do and need to be careful what they wear and, you know, quite sensitive about comfort levels. But I said, you know, let me send you a pair. Let me try. And I sent the Run Paradise Rainbow ones and he really liked them. He said they fit really well. And so I just thought, yeah, I'll happily make you more socks. Brilliant. They are significantly bigger than the socks I usually make for myself. But it's worth it. He's worth it. Okay. Right. So what else can I tell you? So what do we do next? Do we talk about where I'm going with this? Oh, okay. So I've got a top secret mission that I'm not going to tell any of you about because I have a habit of nailing my flag to the mast and saying, this is what I'm going to do, and then not doing it. So I'm not going to do that this time. So I'm not telling you what my big idea is. So I'm going to leave you and I will report back if I manage it. There we are. I mean, you can have some fun guessing as to what it is I want to try down below, but ooh, no, let's rewind that. You can have a try at guessing in the comments what it is I'm going to attempt, but I'm not saying it out loud and I shan't tell you if you're right. If you are one of the few people in my life who do know what my sort of, I wonder if I could, was, then please don't spoil it for everybody else. But yeah, pop your guesses down below and we shall see. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. This is decaffeinated coffee and I've been looking forward to sharing this with you all day. So good. I'm using my project bag mug. I was thinking about, you know, I'm getting towards the end of the year and you start thinking about, you can't help it, can you? You think about like how the year's been, what you want to do next year, all that sort of thing. I've been thinking about my business quite a lot, particularly as I'm winding it down, you know, ready for baby to arrive. And it's just, this is where I started, guys. And now it's just, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. We're coming to the section of the podcast now where you and I really get to sit and have a proper chat. And this is exciting. So. Winter plans. I mentioned my friend Ellen. Now, as I've been casting off things, I haven't really wanted to cast anything else on. I'm quite hooked on the idea of finishing things. However, a couple of weeks ago now, I suddenly had this urge. My mojo came flying back, my desire came back, and I was like, I want to cast on all the things. And so I put polls in my stories. I said, you know, on Instagram, I said, okay, I want to cast on all the things. Should I have a cast on party? Should I drag my friend Ellen into it? A little bit of payback, perhaps. Should we make it into a make-along and drag you all with us? And the consensus was yes. And I have some truly fabulous prizes being donated already by some wonderful makers and dyers and designers. And if you are a maker, dyer or designer and would like to donate to the make-along, then please do let me know. So Ellen and I present to you the Great Winter Cast On. This is a hashtag that no one has used. Could tell you that it's not the best idea. or it's pure genius and no one else has thought of it. I'm going with the latter. So Ellen and I got talking and we were like, do you know what? We haven't had a cast on party for a while. We haven't done an IG live together for a while. I haven't seen each other in so long. You know, woohoo, pandemic. And yeah, so we thought, okay, go for it. So what I've decided to do is we are not going to cast on in the scale that Ellen had me cast on the cast on party of 2019. I've still not recovered from that, genuinely still not recovered from that. I want to make some things for Christmas and I want to get ahead, and it's already September and there are projects that I had earmarked for this winter that I wanted to do already. So I thought, well, let's cast them on. So I think I'm casting on 4 things, possibly 5. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. So first up is the campfire sweater, which I want to make for Alan. I actually bought the yarn for this over a year ago. And I think I bought it over a year ago, and you may have seen it in my stash vlog the other day. I want to make it for Alan. It's a colourwork sweater. I've never made him a sweater and I would love to make him one. So there we go. That's number 1. Number 2 is Julia's socks for Christmas. I bought her a skein of sparkly 80s tree lights from Truly Hooked and was going to make them into socks for her last Christmas. Didn't get them done, didn't even get it out the skein. So I said, well, here's present 1. You know, you've got the yarn. This is 2-part present, 2-year, 2-part present. Part 2, you will get the socks. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the birds of a feather. No, it's Mia's Christmas blankets. You remember last year I made a blanket in King Cole Yummy in the colourway Merry Christmas to be a Christmas Eve blanket for my godson. I have two godsons and a goddaughter. And 2 of them are twins. So one of my godsons and goddaughter are twins. And so I wanted to make them both a Christmas Eve blanket, particularly as I haven't seen them very much. I still haven't seen them much this year. I wanted to snuggle them up in a blanket from Auntie Gemmy on Christmas Eve and let them know that I love them very much. So I did one and I just didn't get the other one finished. So I want to get the other one done, ready for this year. And the final one on my cast on list, although no, that's 4, there's 5 actually, 5 things I want to cast on. I want to cast on the hoodie that I was going to do for my little honorary nephew. He's the really knit-worthy little boy who did the fantastic pictures a few times ago and tells everyone that his jumper was made just for him. Yeah, you're cute and I'm going to make you all the things. So I've got to cast on his birthday hoodie, but it's long sleeve, so I didn't want to have it in summer. So again, 2-part present. 1, here are the colours, here's the pattern. Wait till the autumn and Auntie Gemmy may have done it for you. But the 5th and final one is the birds of a feather shawl. Now this is something that I actually cast on ages ago. And I was working it, I don't know if I've got any pictures. If I do, then I'll show you. I had beautiful skeins of Frostbite, I think, from Amy Stranded Dye Works. Alan bought me a skein of singles and I bought a second one so that I could actually make a project with it. And I thought, I'm not going to buy any mohair because I've got a load of 80s mohair in stash. Yes, I know, I hear it now. It was a bad idea. Okay, it was a bad idea. It was an honourable idea, but it was a bad idea. It was so thick and it just didn't work. And I thought, well, do I push through? But the birds of a feather, if you've seen it, I'll put a picture up here. It's this beautiful ethereal shawl, with panels of 4-ply and panels of the finest mohair silk lace. So I decided that, because my mum loves blue almost as much as I do, it's her favourite colour too. I don't think she lives her entire life in it now like I do. So I thought I would do that. And then Stranded had a shop update a couple of weeks ago and I thought I'll get some mohair lace from there. And I was chatting to Amy about it. I was like, so do you think, this is a paint box okay, one of a kind, do you think that would go with Frostbite? And she said yes. And I promptly bought the wrong base. So this base has 300 meters and it's Suri alpaca, and silk. Yeah, 74% baby cereal alpaca and 26% silk, and it is divine. It is kind of the new base that people are going for rather than the mohair lace. It is slightly thicker and it's softer, much softer, and it's just scrumptious. But the birds of a feather actually calls for more like 400 meters, I think. So I've got a kind of debate now as to whether I buy another 2 skeins of the mohair lace or if I stick with this and see how it works. But so this is leading me into stash acquisitions. So yarn, despite having filled up my box, my book, more yarn has since come into my life. So let's start with, I've started with that one, so let's have a look at this one next. This is For the Love of Yarn, and this was from a Lucky Dip bag. She was doing a Lucky Dip sale, and for like £7 or you got a Lucky Dip, and I got 2. So this one is it's called Badass. It's a badass. And it's 400 meters of 50-50 merino and silk, and it is just beautiful. And there's also an Aran skein, which I think might have to be a hat for my goddaughter. 166 meters of 100 grams merino Aran, and it's in colourway Blush. So that came into my life. The other thing that came into my life were the next colourways. 14, 15, 16. 15 and 16 of Blanket Club from Truly Hooked. It's bright, isn't it? And I think I've decided what I'm going to do with Blanket Club now, but I'm not doing anything until the new year. And I want all the yarn first. A skein of Pink Flamingo West Yorkshire Cinnamon self-striping. This is not for my dad. He can't have it. This is mine. Pink Flamingo was a limited edition colourway, and they have discontinued. I managed to snap up a skein from my local yarn shop. Yeah, we got some and in the shop, and I was like, oh, I'm going to put one of those aside for me. And so I did, because I want pink stripy socks. Why not? There are a lot of boys in my life right now. You know, got my husband, got my 2 cats, got my dog, and I've got a son on the way. So a girl needs a bit of pink. Just occasionally a girl needs a little bit of pink. And that's what your girl's going to do. So these will be for me, and I don't know if there'll be like a Christmas Eve cast on or a New Year's Day cast on. Not happening yet. So talking about acquisitions, there is a really special one that came through the post. I have a lovely friend called Sam. Sam and I became friends because she tested the Lara's Legacy socks, and she started watching my podcasts, and we sort of chatted and become really good friends since then. She's a really lovely human, and I really value her. And she wanted to make something for the baby, which is just so sweet. And she sent me through, she said, oh, do you want some of my, because she's had a little boy as well, and who's obviously growing at a rate of knots, because that's what they do. You know, can I send you any bits? Oh yeah, anything would be great. Fantastic, thank you. But she included hand knits. And she's included the teeniest, tiniest pair of Lara's Legacy socks. So that she's taken the Lara's Legacy design and she has popped it onto this pair of socks, complete with the cable. And it's in the same colour as she used for her test of Lara's Legacy socks. And if that wasn't lovely enough, the Lara's Legacy hat. Which again, she took the design, popped it onto a hat, and the result is just beautiful, complete with the cables that represents Lara's octopus. If you are new here, go back and watch episode 1 of the Project Bag podcast. Towards the end, I talk about Lara. She's my little girl. She unfortunately died. And I have dedicated myself to raising awareness of infant loss and neonatal death and breaking the taboo. And one of the things I did was to design a charity sock pattern, the Lara's Legacy socks, which you will find on my PayHip store, and in Ravelry, and every penny from the proceeds of that goes to Bliss, the charity for the newborn. So having another baby is scary. He's much longed for. It's been a while coming, but it is scary. It brings up all these things, and also it's bittersweet because Lara should be here, you know, getting all excited about her little brother. And this is just really lovely. It's a lovely way of sort of, you know, keeping her as part of our family as our family expands. And it's just, I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to take a minute. And I'll be right back, and we'll talk about the Great Festive Cast On some more and how you can get involved. And we're back. Hang on, coffee. Oh, dear me. So we kind of segued from winter plans into stash acquisitions, and I didn't actually tell you that much about the Great Winter Cast On of 2021. Does anyone else keep saying 2020? I've written 2020 in my bullet journal every day this week and only just realised, and it's already Thursday. I don't know, time's doing weird things at the moment. So, as I was saying, Ellen and I are going to host I'm going to host, but Ellen's going to sort of join me for the fun, the Great Winter Cast On. So every year, typically around about October time, I get into a bit of a pickle and I'm like, oh, I want to make things for Christmas. I'm really behind. And we tend to have the Crack Those Whips Cal that takes place in summer. I'm not hosting that this year. I don't know kind of why. I think because I was just a bit busy. I said Eric over on Sticks Plus Twine is hosting some sort of finish along thing, which is really, really cool. I can't remember the actual name. I'm sorry, Eric, if you do happen to see this. Don't know why you would, but if you did. Yeah, so go check that out. But we are going to have not the Great Festive Cast On, the Great Winter Cast On. I am so ready for sweater weather this year. It's been a very hot September, and I know Septembers are often quite nice, but it's been hot. It's not been fun, and I want to knit things and wear things. So yeah, so we're going to have a cast on party on Monday the 20th of September from 7:30 till 8 p.m. It's going to be on Instagram. I'll be hosting it, and Ellen will be joining me, so you can catch us live on Instagram. And we cordially invite you to cast on some things that you want to make for winter. I don't quite know what's going on here. I seem to have shrunk. Hang on. Let's bring you down a bit. That's better. It's less like me going, hello. Anyway, I can relax a bit now. So yeah, what do you want to cast on for winter? There's some good conversation going on in the Midnight Makers group on Facebook. Some people are already sort of doing their lists. Loads of people are doing the Stephen West MCal. I really want to do the Stephen West MCal. I did my first Stephen West MCal. I said started my first Stephen West MCal last year. I was resisting. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I can never keep up with them. I finished the Mama DIY MCal from 2019 in 2020. So, 2018, 2019. Finished that in 2020. Yes, because the Stephen West one started at the end of 2020. Oh, I'm so confused. Anyway, and then Jules and I were watching Stephen's IG video because he does the most wonderful videos, doesn't he, about his designs, and he's just really watchable. It's really nice. And we saw the honeycombs and we're like, oh, we need to do this. And I haven't finished it. I really enjoyed it, but I got to the stage again, and it comes to this idea of what we should be doing and how we should be doing things, if that makes sense. You know, as a podcaster, I know you guys never put me under any pressure to finish things. I mean, if you did, what would be the point? Because it's not going to happen. We have 4 finished objects this week. Remember that, 4. You've had 4. You've only seen 2, but there were 4. Yeah, that's your lot for a while. Yeah, but we put ourselves under pressure, don't we? And I was like, well, if I'm working on it, then I've got to have something to show for it on the podcast. And the rows have got so long now that if I can only put a couple of hours in a week, I get like 2 rows done, and that's nothing to show. And I don't know why I got in my own head about that, because you guys have never put me under any pressure to finish things. You're along for this crazy ride with me, aren't you? You know? So yeah, just shut up, Gemma's inner saboteur. Just shut up. Shut up. Go on now, go. Walk out that door. Don't turn around, because you're not welcome anymore. I've lost the plot. I did not sleep well last night. I've been up working since 6 a.m. because I gave up. I just couldn't sleep. So uncomfortable and just like hot, and the dog was on me, and then the cat was on me, and then the husband was snoring, and he doesn't often snore, but he snored last night. Anyway, sleep deprived delirium in setting, plus excitement about casting on things. That's what we were talking about, casting on things. So I'm not casting on the Stephen West shawl yet. And I'm also not casting on the Sweet Georgia mystery along, even though it's really beautiful, because obviously there are now 3 clues in and I can see what's happening, and I really, really want to do it. Hilariously, and thank you very much, because this is a lovely problem to have, after I showed my potential combinations for the Sweet Georgia mystery along, you went and bought them. Which is great. Thank you very, very much. You have saved me from myself. So I'm left with one combination that, provided no one buys in the next few weeks, I may have to cast that one on. But I'm also riding high on the fact I've just finished this one. I don't know. I am all over the place today. If you're keeping up with this, then thank you. If you're a new viewer, I'm afraid I can't promise anything more coherent at any point. General nonsense is what people have come to expect from me. Oh, so yeah, so those are things I want to cast on in winter. So the campfire, the birds of a feather, Julia's socks. I don't think they're going to be a particular pattern. I'm not sure. Can't remember. Don't know if I told her they were going to be a pattern. She doesn't watch this, so she's not going to be able to tell me. I'm not going to ask her because I might just want to do vanilla. Oh, Mia's blanket. My honorary nephew's jumper. So yeah, five things to cast on. I think that's probably enough. What do you want to cast on? I mean, in that, interestingly, there's nothing for me, but I do have on the whitboard 2 sweaters for me, and the Slipstravaganza. So I don't think I'm really missing out by not casting anything on for me. And yeah. People have been really concerned, actually, about me casting things on. More than a few people have been in my inbox saying, you know, you've got a baby on the way, you shouldn't be casting things on. Yeah, I'm sure. I want them cast on, and hopefully at a point where I can just pick it up and just do a few rows here and there. It's, I reckon I'll be all right to make things. I made things when Lara was here, you know, and I was with her all the time, like constantly, which is what you'd expect with a little one. But, you know, she was in hospital, but I really was with her all the time. And I found it a huge help, you know, as a new first-time mum, to be able to knit a bit. So yeah. Oh, Magnus needs a new sweater for winter. 6 things. So yeah, how do you get involved? Well, come into the Midnight Makers Facebook group. I'm not going to do any threads on Ravelry. My Ravelry group has gone so quiet. I think everyone has probably stopped using Ravelry, at least socially. I still use it to keep track of my projects a little bit. But I tend to support designers off Ravelry myself, if I can. Yeah, and I want it to be inclusive. So we'll have Facebook, the Midnight Makers group. I'm going to open a photo album in there for you to upload your pictures to. And we'll do a hashtag on Instagram. So those will be the 2 platforms we use. With regards to prizes, we've had donations of yarn. I've bought some yarn. It was Perth Festival of Yarn this past weekend. And Sophie was basically wanting to mule for everyone. She's like, use me as your yarn mule. What can I buy for you? Tell me what to buy. I'll buy stuff. I think she wanted saving from herself. She had quite a lot of luggage allowance, so, you know. So I got her to get a bat of fibre from Seeley McWheely, which I will show you in a couple of weeks, because Sophie's going to drop it off because she's coming down. Hooray! And a skein of yarn from Seeley McWheely as well. So we've got fibre, we've got yarn. We've got project bags from Joe. We've got stitch markers from Karen. We've got yarn from, I think, Athis Yarns. If I've said that wrong, Laura, and you didn't offer, I'm really, really sorry. Just pretend I didn't say that and it's fine. Yeah, so there are loads of really cool prizes coming in, which is really exciting. So I would draw the prize in my last episode before Christmas, which will be around the 18th or 20th of December. Now, I don't know how many podcasts I'll be doing for the next few months, because I've only got about, well, 8 weeks-ish until little man, you know, could put, well, he could put in an appearance at any point, really. So yeah, I don't know, but we'll sort it out anyway. And I'll announce the winner certainly on Instagram and Facebook if there isn't a doodah. But there's going to be a few winners, I think, because there's quite a few prizes. So the idea is that if I get it shipped out by the sort of 18th of December, then you might have it for Christmas, which would be really cool, wouldn't it? To have like little prizes, yay, for Christmas. Or even if it arrives a little bit late. So we're starting it on the 20th of September to October to November to December. I think we'll close it on around the 15th of December. So almost 3 months. I think that's doable. What do you think? And what do you want to cast on? Like, if you've got plans, because all these things that I want to cast on are things that I've had planned for a while. So it's not like I'm just going a bit mad and sort of picking things and going, I want to cast this, I want to cast that on. There's actually some thought behind this year with me. What do you want to cast on? Are you going to cast on a cosy sweater for you? Have you got some gifts in mind for people? Because it's not just the C word coming up. You know, there's a lot of festivals where people might decide to give gifts. You know, tell me below. I'm wittering. I'm actually just wittering inanely at this point. I'm so sorry, folks. It's been, I think it's because it's been like a good couple of weeks since I've sat down and done a proper podcast episode with you, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you. And I'm also not at the day job, I'm working from home, because shielding. So that means I'm really not talking to many people. So I sit down to talk to you and you just get blah at you. So sorry. Oh, what's new? Oh, more acquisitions. Hang on. I'm not done with acquisitions yet. I'm something special. Look, here we are. Let's move on. I'm not going to go back and edit this and put this with acquisitions, because like that's like pretending I've done something when I haven't. So this, you'll be grateful because I'm going to shut up for a minute and you're going to have some B-roll. So my lovely friend Gemma, also known as Little Grey Girl, we've been talking recently, become quite good friends. She's really lovely. She gave me some undyed skeins of yarn in DK weight that she's not going to carry, and I also don't carry. But she said, look here, I've got these 2 skeins of DK. I thought you might like to dye them up and turn them into something for the baby. I was like, oh, so cute. Yes, I would. So I spent some time on Sunday afternoon dyeing these 2 skeins up, and cue the B-roll. Okay, so I've got something a bit special today. I'm going to be using up the dyes that I did for the Perth Collab Club, the rest of it by creating a special speckled colourway in this yarn that Gemma, Little Grey Girl, gave me to dye up something for Pip. So the idea is that I am just going to like slosh everything on a bit like a Jackson Pollock, pop it in the oven, and then we're done. So join me. red or not? Do we go for the full rainbow effect or not? I think I'm going to go for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the purple out of here and I'll put the red in, or maybe I'll pull the orange out. Maybe I'll pull the yellow out. No, I need the yellow. I'll pull the blue out. No, I won't. I'll pull the orange out. Actually, I think that finishes it off rather nicely. So now I've been brave. I'm going to flip and do the other side for Pip's rainbow speckle sweater. I'm straight on the counter. Whoops. Clean that up in a second. Fantastic. Job done. And we're back. There you go. Tales from the Midnight Diary, and you've actually got some Midnight Diary action going on. So here we are. And these are the skeins I dyed. I used all the colours from my Pointless Nimnomnic from that colourway that was part of the Perth Collab Club. And I just threw them Jackson Pollock style over the yarn, and the result is a really fun, bright, vibrant yarn with speckles of green and blue and orange, and I don't know why I'm telling you the colours because they're colours of the rainbow. Kind of. Yeah, there's a bit of a muddiness in some of it, but yeah, so here's basically when I knit this up, and I'm planning on knitting it into a flax. When I knit that up, he's basically going to be look like he's had a party popper fired at him by a unicorn sneezing glitter. And it's going to be fabulous. Poor child. But, you know, it's like a rite of passage, surely, to have a slightly dodgy piece of knitwear. There's a pattern in my family, and I don't know if I'll be able to find a picture of it. I probably won't. But it's become what's known as the boiled egg outfit. So it's like a white bonnet with a yellow stripe and a white matinee jacket with yellow stripe, and you just look like a boiled egg in it. It's become known as a boiled egg outfit. I have tried, and so has my mother, and so has my aunt. We've tried to remove this knitting pattern from existence. However, it persists. So yeah, it's like I was dressed in the boiled egg outfit. I'm pretty sure it might have been my brother, but anyway, one of us poor children was dressed as a boiled egg. I hope it wasn't me because I was an Easter baby, so that'd just be really, really weird. So yeah, I dyed that. So thank you very, very much, Gemma. Speaking of Gemma, I never actually showed this off before. Hang on, I'm going to pause. Oh God, it's just as well I paused. That was not elegant. I don't think I showed this off before because I couldn't find it when I was recording the podcast, and I just found it. It'd fallen down the side of my sofa. Gem gave me this really lovely project bag. She's an Irish tweed, I think she did tell me, and in it are my acquisitions from her first shop update, because Gem has started dyeing yarn, and she dyes self-striping, and this is just stunning. It's called Sherbet, and I'm quite lucky I got to see the colourways ahead of time. It's like, I know which one I want. I'm going wasting no time. As soon as the shop update goes live, I'm going there, I'm going to get it. And I did, but look, you notice how small that skein is? That's a 50 gram skein for people with little feet. Like me. It's genius. Because I get 2 pairs of socks out of a skein of 100 gram skein of yarn. And do I want 2 pairs the same? Not necessarily. Do I want to gift them? Not necessarily. So I think this is genius. And Gem also provided a choice of minis to go with it to do heels, coes and tufts. Heels, coes and tufts. We'll go with that. And I chose, like, there were colours picked out, like, to complement the self-striping, but there was also always the option of a grey, and Gem, being the little grey girl, kind of had to go with grey. So I did that. And also got in here, very special colourway. It's not named. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? So yeah, she gave that to me, which is really, really sweet. So thank you very much, Gemma. I love it. I love it. It's like a rainbow. Ooh, yarn beard. Yarn hat. Could be a hat. I don't know. I think I've lost the plot this week. I had an episode of the Project Bad podcast years ago where I said the one where she's finally lost it. I think I was pretty good at that point. I was pretty good at that point. And I'm just surrounded by utter chaos at the moment. You know, I've got whips, I've got finished objects, I've got yarn. I mean, if you could see the mess that is around me right now, it's not Insta-worthy, definitely not Insta-worthy. Oh, anything else to talk to you about? Not really. I'm reading some books. They are on Kindle, and one was, I want to say Nick Spalding, probably wasn't, called, no, Logging Off was the one I watched before. No idea. I've read some really good books. I started reading again. And yeah, that's it really. Nothing really to say. So I think I'm going to wrap things up here, not least because I have just started rambling randomly. I know some of you quite like these episodes, which is just as well because my mouth is running and it's not stopping. Oh my God. And I think I need to podcast a bit more frequently because otherwise this is just going to be a hot mess every time. Oh, what else has been going on? Nothing really. Nothing really. I'm just living a quiet life, doing my knitting, a bit of designing, a bit of dyeing. Not really dyeing anymore, as you know. I've got one more cozy box to come out, and that's going to go on sale in the next week or so on the website, so look out for that. There is still some yarn in my shop if you wish to support me. That would be wonderful. So I've gone through my show notes, and everything I'd planned to talk to you about I have actually managed to talk to you about, so I'm going to count that as a win. I'm going to let you go and stop wittering on. Do get involved in the comments below. Can't remember what I've asked you now. I want to know about your cast-ons. Are you going to join us for the cast-on party? Yeah, all of the above, really. I've basically talked non-stop for an hour and just ground to a halt. So I think this is a really sensible place to stop it. I've said that at least 4 times. I don't know how many are going to get edited out. So yeah, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to say goodnight. Have a lovely, lovely rest of week, month, year, however long it is until I speak to you again. Do say hello to me in the comments. I'd love to get to know you. Do come and join the Midnight Makers group on Facebook if you so desire. You can find all the places to follow me down below. You know, all the usual things, all the usual things. Love you all very much. Thank you for putting up with me. I hope you've enjoyed your time with me this week. If you're new, I really hope I haven't scared you off, although why I'm saying that now, an hour in, you've probably already gone. Don't blame you. I need to stop. Gemma, you need to stop. Just stop. Say goodbye. Bye.